What about his romance in his life? What about...
Well, I look at and I think this is it issue 51 and 52 that started this whole thing where Bruce is on the jury for a trial.
Right.
Now, I don't think you can make that into a movie because I think audiences would be like, what the fuck's that? But I thought that that's such an interesting take on it, that Bruce's truth of who he is permeates even into that moment where they see him as something else, but he's trying to find the truth even when he's Bruce Wayne. I thought that was, I'm to the point I can't wait to see how that resolves because I wasn't expecting that story. That's something that seems very fresh to me. And I think you can find ways to make him a detective that don't have to be a detective that's looking through a monocle to find what he's looking
at the facts.
Yes, that's exactly the facts.
There was a Tom King tweet, I think, last week when he was basically talking about him being at the end of a script and he's got 2 pages and he's trying to figure out some type of resolution. And he's like, I don't know what to do at this particular point. And I honestly want to say monkeys, but I'm like, he's not going to laugh at that. And he's not going to know them referencing Minute of the Apes. Right. But I'm like, just monkeys, that's how you solve this one.
Throw a monkey with a gun in there and then everything's fine.
That's right.
There was a stat at some point where, like in the 50s, they discovered that monkeys.
If you put monkeys on the cover.
Monkeys on the cover sold more issues. Yeah.
So they would just make up stories to have monkeys.
Isn't that where Killer, what's his name, came from? Was that part of that? Is it Killer Grog or whatever it is?
Gorilla Grog?
Gorilla Grog. Is that where he came from? But I swear I read that somewhere that their studies were.
Guy.
I know it was like a DC Comics 365 days where they went day of 1 day stat stuff. So I went Googling to see if I could find that stat just so I could reply to Tom TK, monkeys, because they answer everything and they sell well. And I couldn't find it and I never replied to it. And then I'm just a loser. And I spent,
damn you, Richard.
I spent 10 minutes trying to reply to one of my idols and
you just kept deleting the emails.
So I'm dumb.
That brings us back to you saying at the top of it with our conversation before that you would come up with the perfect thing to say to me 1 or 2 days later. You suffer from the same thing I do. Apparently you will take something with you and you'll keep playing it until you find what it is you want. I promise, as your friend and as your fellow podcaster, I will always allow you to come back to the table and say the things just to bring it back to truth.
Like a week from now, whenever you have your reply to this, you just edit it back into
it. Yeah, pretty much. Richard will just come in. This is my thought right now.
Apparently I have to explain what happened at the section
Richard
of the car
has
story,
new...
but we're done with
okay. So my friend Jeff, who I do the podcast with, wrote in an email and said that you didn't ever finish. You did a tease. We agreed this season with Beneath Planet of the Apes that we would tease every episode. And Richard did a tease where he told a story about something you saw. And I think the tease went according to... if you look outside and you see what looks like a belt and 2 people sitting there, and you just kind of let it was very open-ended. You never really told the entirety of the story. So why don't you just tell the entire story?
But I told you guys the story.
You told us. I don't believe you told.
We have a listener, an emailer.
It's been a little while. So
been a while.
Tell what you can of it.
So it was a Monday. The store was closed. I was working. Was it story? Was it Monday? Anyway, so I was working. I was at the register.
Wait, is this a real story?
These are the details you don't have to get into.
And I'll tell you this. The store's closed on Monday, but if a customer pulls up that I know that I recognize and they want to come in and it's no big deal, I'll let them in to get their comics or whatever, but normally the store's closed. So a car pulls up. It pulls up in the first parking space in front of the door. There are no other cars in the parking lot. And I look out the door and I'm like, is that somebody that I know? Or is that something I should avoid looking at if it's somebody that just wants to harass me for something? And I see a person in the driver's side, and the person on the driver's side is looking down. And so I couldn't quite figure out who it was. So I probably spent a little more time than I should looking at the person on the driver's side to see if I could figure out who it was.
Just because I'm trying to understand, we're in Zeus Comics. Are they that way out there?
No, they're right in front of the front door.
Right in front of the front door.
Right in front of the front door.
So if you're at the register, you can't.
Right where Sean's truck is.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. So I visually see this person. I'm like, I think I know who that is. But they're looking down like they're reading, or they are not paying attention to the fact that I'm not open yet, or maybe they're thinking I'm going to open soon, or they're looking at their phone, or I don't know what it is. And then I kind of recognize that there's something in the passenger side. I'm like, oh wait, there's something in the passenger. Is that a person? Am I looking at, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
What am I seeing on the passenger side? Right now, keep in mind, I'm trying to be kind of discreet because I also, if there's somebody I don't want to know, I don't want them to walk in. So I start kind of paying attention to the passenger side, and I realize, okay, that's the top of the chair headrest.
Mm-hmm.
but there's something moving. And as I kind of like pan down from the headrest, I see kind of the outline of the back of the chairs, and I realize there's something actually up in the seat that's moving around. And it takes me just a little bit to realize that I'm looking at somebody's belt, their pants waist and their belt. And I'm like, okay.
In a car this way?
What?
This sounds painful in a car.
Well, I'm doing a visual with my hand. This person in the driver's side is looking down.
Okay.
I've got the passenger side over here, and I realize that there's somebody's butt up in the air.
Because you're having to lean
moving
over whatever
around.
the hump is in the middle of
And I
the car.
realize that this person is now probably giving the person on the driver's side a blowjob.
Oh my
And did you make eye contact and slowly give him a thumbs up?
Well, the person never looked at me. But I was ever like, it was that moment like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? I'm going to stare just a second or two longer just to verify. Oh, there's somebody in the driver's side getting a blowjob from somebody in the passenger side. And the passenger side, their butt is in the air there because they're working really hard for whatever's going on. And this person up here is watching, and I'm trying to remember if I watch. I'm trying to remember do I watch or do I just kind of zone out and roll my eyes
Did
up?
I watch or
I
did
don't remember.
Start recording.
But
I can't
yeah,
remember.
right, exactly what's happening here. And at some point when my embarrassment realizes what I'm watching, I kind of like turn my head away a little like,
Oh, you
Oh,
were. You weren't the
Lord.
one having sex out there.
oh my goodness. So it's not but like maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds later that they actually drive off, and I realize I just kind
So it
of...
was only 20 seconds of pleasure.
You watched
Well, no,
the
I'm
whole
No,
thing.
done.
Keep in mind, I've been watching it for like, I don't know, like 2 minutes. Is it my customer? That's not my customer. What's going on? Is that what's
The
happening?
next time they came in, you offered them some sanitary wipes.
Well, I don't know who it was. I really
Oh,
thought it was
okay.
one of my customers. Then I realized it wasn't one of my customers that just pulled up in front. Who pulls up in front of a
store.
storefront to get a blowjob?
Like you could this
Closed or not closed?
this
you
parking
can't,
lot is spaced so that you could be well away from
you
anybody.
could be parked
Yeah.
anywhere and get a blowjob. You pull up in front of the front doors of a store to get a blowjob. You have no idea if like I've got security cameras on, something
Right.
like that. And then one of my customers was, I posted this on, I think I posted it on Facebook actually about this
I think you
particular
did too.
moment. And one of my customers was like, well, did you go watch? I was like, no.
Oh, you damn perv.
I don't know who they are.
He just in the car going, "Oh
What
yeah,
about
you get it."
What? There's nothing exciting about watching
Are
somebody.
you going to post the video later?
I don't have a video.
Online.
There's nothing better than making Richard just look at you and go, I don't have a video.
Do you
Yeah.
have one of your driveway?
Oh, you want me to tell that story too?
Did we tell that story once?
Did we tell that story?
Which one?
I simply had a friend let me know that a woman he was seeing when my wife and I were out of town, he decided to pull into our driveway and have sex in our driveway. And I was like, what? I was like, please don't tell my Shelly, please don't tell my wife, because as sweet as my wife is to me, when she hears bullshit, she does not suffer it well. And I thought, she will fucking kill you. Okay. Sexuality, we shouldn't all be so hung up about it. You know, we
Sex
all,
is sex. I mean, it's not like
We're all here because of it.
I'm not judging the person who did a
No, I know-
blowjob in front of my store at all.
when I
I'm
said
just
that,
like, really?
when I said that, that's not directed to you. That's
Right, but-
that's in general, and I shouldn't be hung up on it. Except that, how many other fucking places are there in the world for you to go do that shit than my driveway? Are you trying to tell me you have a fetish about me somehow watching so that you taint my driveway?
That's the equivalent of him
Taint.
peeing on your front
Yes,
door. or
taint.
something
I
like
did.
that.
I purposely chose that. What?
It's the equivalent of him peeing on your front door.
Well,
this is
little-
my driveway now.
I guarantee
fuck
you,
here.
this has been 10 years, and there are days when I'm pulling into the driveway to park where I know he did it. My daughter's in the back, and my wife's in the front, and I think of him doing
and your
it.
boner goes away.
I'm 51 years old. My boner went away a long time ago.
This is back in college, but I had a friend like watch my apartment once when I moved, when I was out for a little bit, and I came back, and it was about a week later, and I decided to wash the sheets, and I pulled the sheets off the mattress, and I recognized that there was a stain
Uh-oh.
on my mattress, and I had to call him like, really?
What did you couldn't wash the sheets?
Really? I was like, sorry. I was just a little loose that day.
Oh.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I was in.
I'm sure the audience just loves the fact that I just told this story, but I was like, this is so gross. I have to call my friend now. Right? What is this? Why is there a stain on my mattress?
God. Okay. That's our first sex talk in between.
Where's this going? Sex talk.
Sex talk. Wow.
Sexy.
Has this been sex talk?
Probably somebody's kid actually went to their podcasting app and said, Minute of the Apes. I'm going to listen. And they're just sitting there.
They're sitting there monkeying the tree face.
I've got to put that meme on the Twitter feed.
There you go.
That was about to. My daughter makes fun of me because I was about to say, got to put that on the Twitter.
I got to tweets the Twitters to the twatters.
That's about all I got. Richard, do you feel good about your conversation? I mean, did you say your piece? Because I think your point was really good.
Because we're never going to talk about this again.
We're going back to the beginning.
Yeah, that's my job as the host, is to make sure that we bring this together. But I think your point is very valid. I think until we can basically say whoever you are, it doesn't matter what you are. We're not going to. I think back to Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's, where he plays an Asian man. Have you ever seen that?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You want to look at something offensive because they literally do, and I'm simply
Buck
describing.
teeth,
They put
eye.
buck teeth. They slant his eye with makeup, and he talks like, "Oh yes, it's very derogatory." And here this loved film, and that's Mickey Rooney playing an Asian man. We got to get beyond that. We can't do that again. But I would hope that we'll get to a place where we can look and say, if you're Luke Evans and I have a romantic lead for you, I don't give a shit if you're gay in real life. You're playing that because you're an absolutely devastatingly handsome man who can sustain the belief that you're falling in love with this woman. That's all I ask.
There's a lot of blind casting we would love to have in our films and so on, and I assume at some point we'll get there. But right now, it's important when you're looking specifically at a role that's targeted to a community that role needs to be maintained by that community, whatever that community is.
I can't argue with that at all. I think that's exactly where we need to go. And also, I'm going to end with this. If you're a fucking internet troll and you're trolling people like Ruby Rose and you're saying you're not gay enough to play a gay character, then you've got a fucking problem. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say to you. I've had it with these people.
That shit makes me so mad.
I know that you think something's fucked up in your world. Stop. Stop. This is not your place to tell me what you think. I'm sick of trolls. I'm done with them.
Yeah.
Is that a good way to end it?
There, end it. Bye.
Let's go do some more apes because I'm tired of being angry. Bye.
We'll be angry at the movie.